Hi there. Welcome to this edition of Cloud for Everyday Nigeria. As we all know, Claude is one of the AIs in the market today, and quite a number of people use it for normal research and other kinds of purposes. But in this course, we are going to go deep into the actual purpose of Claude AI and understand deeply what we can do with Claude. Okay, so permit me a minute to share my PowerPoint slide, and we'll take it off from there. Okay, now we can see my screen, right? We can see my screen. Let me put it as a full slide. Okay, can we see it? Can we see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so today is the first day of our class, and the module for today is Introduction to Claude AI. And as you can see on the PowerPoint slide there, Claude AI for Everyday Nigerian, a free practical course, no coding required. So everyone that, some people might think Claude is only for developers. No, not really. There are those, many of us use it for other purposes. Okay? Now, this fundamental module gives you a complete, clear understanding of Claude AI, what it is, how it works, why it is trustworthy, and how to have your first successful conversation with it. No technical background is required, right? No technical background is required. By the end of this module, you'll be ready to use Claude confidently for every use case in the rest of this course. Okay? Now, today's journey. There are 3 sections involved in this. Well, the first one is understanding AI and Claude. The second section is getting started. And the third section is capabilities and limits. Right? Capabilities and limits. Now, let's get into section 1. Let's get into section 1. Let's get into section 1, which is understanding artificial intelligence and Claude. Right? What is artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is one of the most talked about topics in the world today, yet most people have only a vague sense of what it actually means. This lesson clears that up completely. At its simplest, artificial intelligence refers to computer systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. Things like understanding language, recognizing patterns, making decisions, solving problems, and generating text or images. Unlike traditional computer programs that follow rigid, fixed rules, AI systems learn from large amount of data and can handle situations they were not explicitly programmed for. A minute, please, a minute. Why are you making noise? I'm in the live program now. Why the noise? Huh? I'm in a live program. I'm in a live program. Just do all your cutting. Don't blend here when I'm done. Wait. Just go and tell them what to do, I beg. Sorry for that. I needed to clear some things for people that are doing some things in my house. Okay. Now let's get back. Are you guys there? Ken, Endurance, Blessing, are you there? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You are seeing the presentation live? Are you seeing the presentation? Yes. Okay, good. Let me continue. You interact with AI more often than you probably realize. When your phone's keyboard suggests the next word as you type, that is AI. When Gmail filters spam from your inbox, that is AI. When Google Maps estimates traffic and reroutes you, that is AI. When a bank's system flags an unusual transaction on your account, that is AI. These are a few examples to show us that AI is not just a futuristic concept, it is actually deeply embedded in tools Nigerians use every day. The type of AI we focus on this course is called large language model. That is the kind of AI that we're going to be focusing in this course and all through to finish, and that is what Claude was built on. This is an AI system that's specifically designed to understand and generate human language, meaning it reads what you type, understands the meaning and context, and respond in clear, natural language. Claude is one of the most advanced large language models in the world. I'm sure we all know that already. Now, understanding this foundation helps you approach Claude with the right mental model. It is not a search engine. Claude is not a search engine. It is not a simple chat box like many people use it for, although you can build chatbots on it. It is not magic. It is a very capable AI system trained on enormous amount of human knowledge, designed to assist you with the kinds of language-based tasks that make up most professional work. Okay? Now, in summary, what we'll discuss so far is when you use your phone to do all your typing with it, and then the phone keeps showing you what to type and how to make your grammar more. If besides your phone, even in Microsoft Word, Google, and many others, even in our command lines, right? For example, you're using command line to write your code. Even in normal IDEs that we use for programming, like vSkul, all of this, they give us instances of the next line. All of that have been done by AI, right? They have been using it long before now to build the application. But as it is, they have not come out with realities to make it much more open. Now, use our Gmail spam or Yahoo or normal other email editors. Whenever they are able to, for example, Ken, you can remember, few weeks ago, I asked you to log into our inbox and remove all the spam. Now, what you don't know is this. I created what we call a rule that two particular kind of emails that has a particular kind of clause. Once the system receives that, it should send them into two folders, right? Now, I didn't do anything. Even the one for the spam, okay, no, I didn't do about the spam yet because I've already asked you to do that. Now, I didn't do that deliberately because I wanted you to first go through the ones that are English and the ones that are not English. If not, if I had done that, even the ones that are English would have been taken away. But there are two emails that, for example, emails that has to do with, what do you call it, quota and demo. Once they come up, they go to their folders. It is AI that helps these things to happen, right? Now, for those of us that drive, especially in the Western world, here in Nigeria, we don't even use map very well. You know, my few years in Canada, I saw what Google Maps can do. When you are driving, you don't know where you're going. All you just need to do is call up your Google map and tell you where you're going. And that's it. Now, in Nigeria here, we all see what is going on Bolt and Uber. What you see them do is basically AI, right? And even in the bike app we're building, you can tell that I added Google Map in that. You can tell that Google Map is able to tell where the bike is going and where the passenger is, all of that. But at the back end, they happen, but many people don't even know what's going on. They just think it's a normal computer, but it is actually the AI that is doing all of that. The same applies to bank fraud alert. Like the other day, we were working and then the system turns off. Once the system realizes that your IP is fluctuating, it will keep signing you off. All of that have been programmed long ago, right? So AI is not a new thing. It's not a new idea that came up. In fact, before now, we used to call them expert system, right? That was the way we used to call them then. But the reality is they're all being run by AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. So any question before we go to the next slide? So now we are on section 2. And in this section, we're going to focus more on Claude AI. Hello? Any question? Okay. In this section, we're going to focus on Claude AI. As you can see, Anthropic, which was founded in 2021 by former OpenAI researcher Dario and Daniela Amodei. Their mission from day one was to build AI that is honest, helpful, and safe. That is their mission, to build an AI that is honest, safe, helpful, and safe. And the first release was in March 2023, which means it took them 2 years or so to come up with something. Now, Claude is used by millions worldwide. Now, again, Claude's way of development is what we call constitutional AI, which means Claude evaluates and corrects its own responses against a set of principles before answering, right? Now, the result is Claude is more likely to say, I am not sure, than to confidently guess a rare and valuable trait in an AI tool. Now there's something here. Now, if you look at the blue box, you see why Claude matters for Nigerians. Claude has a strong knowledge of Nigerian law, CSC, FIRS, and government processes. You guys may not know this, but I use Claude a lot when it comes to the Nigerian law, in fact, the Nigerian law documentations and all the rest. For example, you all know that we have started the implementation of the new tax law, right? Now, they have revised the new one, even though yet Claude may not have fully the upgraded version. But once I get it from the office, I'm going to put it in the Claude, and we're going to do a lot. That assignment, I will explicitly share it to you guys to do so that you understand how these things work in depth. But in general, Claude has a lot to do. When I was trying to register one of my trademarks, I didn't know how to go about the process. And the website that handles this process wasn't explicitly clear. What I did was to use Claude to do my in-depth detailed description, and it gave me step by step. And guess what? That was exactly, when I logged into the platform, that was exactly the entire process, right? It does it a lot as compared to other ones. Now, it has detail concerning our CSC, FIRS, and other government processes. It handles very long documents. Paste a whole document contract and you have it down. I asked someone to send me an agreement, which of course has to do with one of my companies. Now, I reviewed the first one, but when I asked the guy to make all updates and send, I saw some discrepancies that I wasn't comfortable with. So what I did was I uploaded that document to Word and tell it and asked it to revise it for me and tell me where all the vulnerabilities are that will make me, get into trouble if I sign that document, right? I may not remember the right word I used, but I specifically asked to review the document and tell me where the loopholes are, where there are vulnerabilities, and things that will put me into trouble if I sign that agreement. And it did. And after which I asked to revise it to suit the best practice, not just to suit me, but to suit best practice so that me and other parties will all benefit from it. And it did. And at least that way, I won't be in trouble, they won't be in trouble, we all work in agreement. So that is one of the things that Claude can do. Maybe you guys don't know this, not only for other coding for like some of us. Now, it can write a clean, clear, professional English for business use, right? Most of the proposals are sent out to big companies. I use Claude. I, first of all, write my own. And now, here is the issue. You don't just ask it to write. You, first of all, write your own, what you expect, line by line. If there are points or areas you want it to handle, make it clear. So when you begin to, when you ask it to now enhance on it, it will make it easier, right? Now, beside the paid version of Claude, there is also the free tier that is generally useful, right? Not crippled, not forcing people to upgrade. So that is what most people will use. But for those who do programming, I would strongly suggest you use the paid version. Okay? Now let's go into the next slide. Okay, sorry, I've gone too far in my slide. Okay. Sorry, my stuff was hanging. Now, let's compare Claude with other AI tools like ChatGPT and others. By now, there are dozens of AI assistants available: Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Grok, and more. The options can be confusing. Options here means what you need it for, right? Can be confusing. And many people waste time switching between tools without understanding what makes each one suitable for different tasks. Now, looking at ChatGPT, ChatGPT is made by OpenAI and was the first major AI assistant to reach mass popularity. Launching in November 2022, it is excellent for creative writing, coding, and general conversations. Its paid version, which is GPT-4, is very capable. However, ChatGPT has been noted for generating confident but incorrect information, right? Which is a problem called hallucination, and its responses can sometimes be over-cautious or evasive. That is why it is important when you gain this kind of, when you use AI to do anything, always cross-check on your own. They will tell you at the bottom, this maybe ChatGPT can make mistake, cross-check. Don't just take everything, as it is. Now, Google Gemini, formerly called Bard, is integrated with Google's product, making it useful when you need information connected to Google Search, Gmail, or Google Docs, including Google Sheets, Google Slides. It has access to real-time internet information, which Claude does not have by default. That's why many people use Google, because virtually everything you do there Google has an idea about it, right? And you also know that Google has been there for decades. Google has been there for decades. Now, the next one is Microsoft Copilot, which is integrated into Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, Outlook, Microsoft Access, Microsoft, There used to be what we called front page in the early 2000s, We started building websites using Microsoft front page. And after then, they now developed a new one. I can't remember the name again. But that one is now, they've stopped it. And then from there, they now develop vSkul. vSkul isn't the first. vSkul is a product of the first two. Now, when front page reigned, you can build a website without writing a single line of code because it's more of drag and drop, what we call WYSIWYG, right? Now, what happens is you embed or you drag an object, maybe a table or a shape put in there. The system will automatically write the code behind. You don't need to see all those codes. That was what we started in the early days to build websites. But today, that is over. That is over. We now have a VS Code. And you can see how versatile VS Code is, right? Because VS Code has gained from front page. I think there were two other ones even before VS Code. Okay, now that is what Microsoft has been using, and today they have built an ecosystem, using AI assistant with those tools. Now, Claude's advantage over these alternatives come down to a few critical strengths. First, Claude document handling. Claude can process and reason about very long documents far better than most of the other alternative AI tools. Excuse me. Second, instruction following. Claude is exceptionally good at following complex multi-party instructions precisely. Third, nuance writing. Claude produces more natural, professional, and contextual approach writing than most competitors. Then, fourth and last, honesty. Claude is more willing to say it does not know something rather than guess it, right? Now, for Nigerian professionals in this course, we recommend starting with Claude because its strength aligns directly with the most common Nigerian professional needs. Document preparation, legal and business analysis, research, and formal writing. Once you are confident with Claude, experimenting with other tools for specific purposes becomes very, very easier. Hello? 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 Someone is there? Okay? So, in summary about Claude versus ChatGPT versus other AI tools, Claude, which is made by Anthropic, is best known for long documents, careful writing, honesty about uncertainty. Now, Claude also does deep coding. Deep coding, as in programming. Claude also introduced design, as part of my programming aspect. It does a lot for me. It can also do what's called mockups, right? If you don't want to, maybe you're a developer and you don't want to build your initial page, you want to do what we call mockups. Mockups are what you create and send to prospective clients to review if that can meet their needs before the actual development phase. And what mockups help to save time a lot because it gives the client an idea of what to expect, even though it's not a functional application. Now, Claude does all of that. But in this course, we are not focusing on anything programming. We are focusing more on non-programming aspect of Claude, right? Now, looking at ChatGPT is good in creative writing, coding, general conversation, including image generation, right? Including image generation. Google, of course, we know real-time via Google, and right now too, Google has integrated the VO to it and other ones. And Copilot, the same. In fact, Copilot can do a lot for you now, including Copilot has been integrated with other third-party applications like, GitHub and many others, right? So there are a lot coming up with in the AI world. So if we've not really started digging deep into AI, I strongly recommend us to do so. Focus on your area of strength and master the tools involved so that you will not be left out, right? So in section 1, what we have learned is the AI performs tasks that normally need human intelligence. Claude was built by Anthropic to be honest, helpful, and safe. Claude has strong knowledge of Nigerian law, business, and government processes. Different AI tools have different strengths. Claude excels at document and formal writing. Okay? Now, let's get into section 2, which is getting started with Claude from 0 to first production conversation. Now, we all know that in the office, we use Claude a lot. We use Claude, we use ChatGPT, we use Krog, we use Notepad, which is owned by, in fact, it's a combination of many other AI tools. We use Hydra, we use quite a number of them, but for this, we're talking about Claude and what we can use it for, you know. Now, getting started with Claude is simpler than most people expect. There is no software to install, although you can also install the app, the desktop app. There is no software to install on computer, no complex configuration, and no payment required at the beginning. This lesson walks you through every step. To access Claude on your computer or laptop, open the browser, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, and go to Claude.ai. You will see a simple homepage with options to sign up or log in. Sign up and choose how you want. Okay, let's jump this to the next. Let's get to paragraph 4. The free plan gives you access to Claude Sonnet, but instead of Claude Sonnet, I will suggest we use, I think, vSkul. Now, Claude Sonnet is good, very good, but the problem with it is that it consumes more token. So if you're a programmer like us, you pay, for example, vSkul 4.5, they charge $1.5 for about 10,000 lines of code or more, but the Sonnet charge about $10, I mean $5 to $10, which is much more. But what you can do with Sonnet is also huge. But if you do not understand it, the best is to start with a model. This Claude Sonnet is a model, right? In fact, it's one of the newest models. vSkul 4.5 is older, right? So they encourage people to use Sonnet because of high complex reasoning it has and other things. But because we use the paid version, we try to save costs by using lower model. I had to say this in case you guys intend to go into programming, just to understand the difference. Now, I said it again, the free plan gives you access to Claude Sonnet, which is Anthropic's highest capable mid-tier model. It is more than sufficient for everything in this course. You will have daily message limits. See that? You will have daily message limit because you are using the free version. Note, meaning you can only send a certain number of messages per day before you need to wait for the limit to reset, right? In practice, most users rarely hit this limit for normal professional use. If you need to do very large volume of work, the Claude Pro subscription most approximately, which is about $20 per month, is what you will need, right? But instead of, if you can afford to pay for a year, better, the price will drop from $20 to $17, right? If you intend to use Claude every month, so every day, every week, every month, for more than a year, I recommend you go for the annual. The annual is about $17 per month, right? Now, one thing to know, Claude operates in conversations. Each conversation is a fresh context. Claude does not automatically remember things from a previous conversation unless you tell it again. Think of each new conversation as starting fresh, while within a single conversation, Claude remembers everything you have said from the beginning. Now, what it means here is, just like in the ChatGPT, there is what we call project. And in project, you have charts. Now, Claude can remember everything in a project. But when you send it to a different project, it will not be able to remember, right? Because as a project, it stores all the details in its memory. It can reference what is in the previous chart. Or you can tell, okay, to make it easy for it, you can tell it, visit this chart with name and ID or shareable link. It's just go there straight and get that the information, right? And reference it in the new chart, right? So that's basically what it's saying here. Okay. Now, in summary, setting up your Claude account is easy. First, you visit their URL, you sign up, you verify your email, and then you start using Claude. Okay. So it's easy as easy. I don't know how to describe it. It's easy as easy, right? Now, let's go to lesson 5, which is your first conversation with Claude. I'm sure if you have a question, please let me know. Now, this is for those who probably have not used Claude before, and in this, listen, I'm going to give us opportunity to sign up while we're in this same class. Maybe you can use your phone to do that. Now, many people open Claude for the first time, type something big, get a response that does not quite meet their needs, and conclude that AI is not useful, which is very wrong. This lesson prevents that experience entirely. The difference between a frustrating Claude experience and a transformative one is almost always in how you frame your request, which means if you just throw in something and expect Claude to give you the best, not even Claude, even other AIs, you won't get it right in. But when you frame your request properly, you get the best. Claude is not a search engine where you type a few keywords. Claude is a knowledgeable, responsive assistant who works best when you communicate the way you would with an intelligent human colleague. That means providing context, being specific about what you need, and starting the format in which you want the answer, right? The single most important improvement you can make to any Claude request is adding context about who you are and why you need the information. Compare these two requests. How do I register a business, right? This is a comparison now. How do I register a business versus I am a 29-year-old woman in Kano who want to register a business, who want to register a catering business with a business name under the CAC. I have about 20,000 naira for fees. Walk me through the registration process step by step. The second request gives Claude everything it needs to provide specific, actionable, Nigerian appropriate guidance, rather than a generic international overview, right? See, the first one is generic. It's not specific. Who are you? Where are you? What do you want to do? You just say, let's say a business. In which country? In which state? So Claude will not really be able to give you the right response you need. But you see the second one talks about the person, the gender, the state, and specifically the kind of business and the amount the person has. Now, why the gender is important is to know how to address it contextually in the northern way. When it comes to Kano, the way Kano people behave, handle their business with regards to female. In fact, even all over Nigeria and abroad, right? Age also is important. If it's an elderly person, Claude will give a different kind of suggestion. Now, since it's a younger person, there's more room, even if there were mistakes yet. Then, the area of business. So this is very important, how you frame your request. The second most important improvement is specifying the format. Give me this as numbered step-by-step guide. Produces a completely different and often more useful response than the same request without format specification. Do you see that? Now, some people can just give the wrong one, and what they will get is a paragraph of stop. But when you tell it specifically how you want the response to come, step-by-step guide, it makes it easier for Claude to handle, right? Now, looking at in the other line, other useful format instructions include: write this as a professional email. Now, it all matters if you want to send that a mail. Summarize this in 3 bullet points. Explain this as if I have no background in finance. Or give me a table comparing these options. Excuse me. So this is how you frame your request so that Claude can really understand and give you the best response you need. In this lesson, you will have your first real Claude conversation asking for something specific to your actual professional life or business. This is not a practice exercise. By the end, you will have gotten genuine value from Claude for the first time. Okay? Now, let's do a practice. You are going to use your phone. If you don't already have a Claude account, I don't know if you already have a Claude account. If you do, then you do the first one and see the kind of response it's going to give you, and then you do the second one, right? You can even do the first one, get the response, and then you do a different prompt again using the second one, so you can have a clarity on the responses you got from both, right? So you see that the first one, which is in pink, is weak, right? How do I register a business? It's a weak because it's so vague. Now, the second one, which is in green, is rich. Is rich. So if you try these two, you see that the second one, which is in green, will give you a much better response. So, will you want me to give you some time to do that, or we should continue? Should we continue? Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's continue. I had a voice, some new persons joined, right? I can't really see the screen because I'm looking at the slides. They signed off. Okay, let's continue to the next one. Sorry? Did you say something?
Yes.
What did you say? Okay. So let's give you a moment. Now, while she's running the exercise, for those of us who just joined, if you are intending to, if you're a programmer or you want to go into the programming, after this course, say by end of August or early September, I believe before the end of this month, we should be done with this course. We're going to start a new set of course, basically for developers. And in that course, we're going to be developing real-life applications using JavaScript, PHP, CSS, then with MySQL as the back-end database system. So, if you're interested, fine, but it's not going to be a free class. It's going to be a paid class, right? But you will learn how to develop real-life applications. You know that by default you won't be able to. It's not as though you can build it ordinarily, but you know, writing code takes days and weeks and months. So what you would have spent 6 months, 1 year building, in a couple of weeks. I have to say weeks because just writing and deploying is not the ideal thing. You have to test your application, you have to debug, you have to troubleshoot, you have to run what we call the MVP to be sure it's actually needed out there, right? You have to allow prospective clients or customers use it, but you will spend 1/3 of the usual time to deploy, right? So I will appeal to us to sign up. I'll make it known so we'll know, and also list the various the specific software I'm going to build per time, because in each course we'll build only one software, right? And there'll be practicals, we'll do it ourselves, but you watch me build it, and then you take it up from there, and the videos will be available for you to also watch after then. Okay. So can we continue now?
Yes, sir.
I should move on? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next class, the next section, why is my screen hanging now? Sorry, I don't know what is wrong with my screen. I don't know if it's a network thing. Okay, sorry, I've gone 2 times faster. Okay, the act of prompting, 5 techniques. Prompting is the skill of communicating with an AI in a way that produces excellent results consistently. It is not a technical skill. It requires no coding or special language. It is a communication skill, and it's learnable in a single lesson, right? So prompting, you see people will say prompt engineering. They've just given it a name. And you know the white, they can give names, they can just seclude a particular something and then create a big course out of it. But the principle remains the same. If you follow the previous slide and what we discussed there, you are good to go. First, you must understand what you want to achieve, what you want the AI to do for you, right? Now, second paragraph. The first technique is the role instruction. You can tell Claude to take a specific professional role before answering your question. For example, you are an experienced Nigerian business lawyer. Review the following contract clause and explain what it means and whether it is favorable to me as a buyer. So now you are asking Claude to function as a Nigerian business lawyer. Do you get that? That is the role you are giving Claude, to sit to see itself as a Nigerian business lawyer and advise you as a buyer. You are the one writing the code. You are now you place yourself in the state of the buyer, while Claude will place itself in the state of the lawyer and then advise you professionally based on the contract, right? By assigning Claude a role, you direct it to respond from a specific knowledge perspective rather than a general assistant. Do you get that? Okay?
Yes, sir.
The second technique is the output specification. Always tell Claude what form you want the answer in. For example, give me a table. Write this as a WhatsApp message. I do WhatsApp a lot. In fact, the best word to say is output. Output. When you tell it output as a WhatsApp message or output it as an MS Word file or a .mpng image, you are being more specific. Now, the word Claude, the phrase Claude normally used to send out documents or respond is what? Output, right? This lists the 5 most important points only. So you are telling Claude, don't bother about paragraph, just give me 5 important points. Another one is, write this as a secondary school reading level. So now, you should bring it low as someone in the secondary school. The next one is, okay, these instructions shape the output dramatically, right? So when you do this, you are telling Claude how you want your response to be. So it will give you something vague, something big, something somewhat that you can't relate with. Now the third technique is the constraint. Tell Claude what not to include, right? Because if you don't, there are sometimes it can add things that you don't want. Not that you can't read them, but they're not really necessary to the message or the request you want. So tell Claude, don't add this, don't add that, just focus on this. Tell Claude what not to include as well as what to include. Do not use Lego jargon. Explain everything in plain language, or keep this under 300 words, or focus only in the situation in Nigeria. Do not give me international comparisons. These constraints prevent common frustrations where Claude gives you more or different information than you need, right? This is important to understand. The fourth technique is the example. Show Claude the type of format, the style of format you want by providing an example. Write a professional email in the same tone as this one. You can paste the example you want there, right? The example you want there. Claude picks up one examples far more reliable than abstract description of tone. Now, the fourth technique is the example. Show Claude the style or format you want by providing an example. For example, I've already done technique 4. Sorry, the fifth technique in another place. The fifth technique is a step-by-step request. For any complex task, ask Claude to break it into steps or to think through the problem methodically before answering. For example, think through this problem step by step before giving me your recommendations. This produces more careful, accurate answer on complex questions. For example, someone sends you a document and you are reading the document, but it's not making sense to you, right? Whether it is in MS Word or in PDF or whatever, just upload it to Claude and tell it to make it simpler for you, tell you the basic message you want or the message that this document wants you to grab. And it will do that for you. In this lesson, you will learn all 5 techniques on tasks relevant to your own work. Okay, I'm sure this very art of prompting is clear to us now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is the page where you see the breakdown, as I've already explained. Role: you are an experienced Nigerian lawyer. You see, so your own case might not be that of a law. It may be maybe a doctor, an engineer. So just give it that role, right? So it will assume that role and see you as the recipient or the client or the customer. Output specification. Tell Claude the format you want it to output what you want. Constraint. Tell it what not to add and what to add. Then don't forget to add examples, right? If you have. But if you don't have, then explain what you want in a way that it will understand. Even if maybe you send it and it didn't give you can always go back and edit the first prompt. Then lastly, step-by-step request, so that you understand explicitly what you want from Claude. Okay? So, if you will need again, we can try this. You can try this step. So you open your Claude on your phone and type this message: I'm a small business owner you can put your city there. Write a formal letter to my landlord requesting a 30-day extension on my rent payment due to a delayed salary. For example, like what this means is you are a worker somewhere and they've not paid you, and you want your landlord to extend. You want to send a letter to your landlord to extend your rent payment, and you don't know how to program the whole thing. So you put it this way, and then, why they put cities, because different cities have their issues, the way they understand. Calabar, Port Harcourt is different. If you're meeting, let me not specify some of the languages there, but if depend on who the landlord is. So it says here, keep the tone respectful and professional. At the end of the day, you see the kind of formal letter that Claude will write for you that you send to your landlord, right? So, should we move on, or should I allow some time to prepare this? I should give some time?
No, I already did it.
Okay, you already did it. Okay, so now you can take your time again and see the output. I think we can continue now. I should continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what we've learned in this section 2 is you can create a free Claude account, which we've done. Context is everything. Tell Claude who you are and what you need for the first 5 better answers. The 5 techniques we've gone through, and you've sent your first real productive prompt to Claude. Okay, so the next, and go to the last section, which is section 3. Now, as good as Claude is, it also has its own limitations, right? It also has its own limitations. Now we're going to go through the full range of what Claude can do and what Claude cannot do for us, okay? Now, it's important we know this so that we don't overemphasize on the perfection of Claude and forget that it's human-made and it's been upgraded as the day go by. But the truth is, the Claude of today is far better than the Claude I used last year, right? The Claude I'm using today is far better than the Claude I used last year. The output is far better. The speed has been enhanced. I have more, as early this year and last year, I experienced several daily limits. For example, I could start work in the morning, and by 4 or 5, I've hit my limit, right? But I can't remember, after March, April this year. I can't remember the last time I ever experienced that. Why? Because they have increased the daily limits based on the models. As they bring in new models, they enhance the limits and give you more opportunity to do work. Because they know that people are working, and you can't be disturbing people daily because of limits, right? So let's go through what Claude can do and what Claude cannot do for us. Okay? Now it says here, most new Claude users discover its capabilities slowly and accidentally. Finding a new use case each time they happen to think of asking this lesson short circuit that process by giving you a complete map of what Claude can do, organized by the domains most relevant to Nigerian professionals. In the domain of writing and document preparation, Claude handles the full spectrum of professional writing, contract and agreement, business proposals, official letters, reports, presentations, emails, CVs, job description, policies, procedures, press releases, speeches, and social media context. It writes at the appropriate level of formality, length, and structure for each document type. In the domain of research and analysis, Claude can produce structured research briefings on virtually any topic. Is it business, legal, medical, scientific, historical, political, or technical? It can summarize long documents you paste into the conversations or you upload. Compare options across multiple dimensions, analyze a business idea or investment opportunities, and synthesize information from multiple angles. Next, in the domain of legal and government guidance, Claude has substantial knowledge of Nigerian law, including the Constitution, company law, labor law, tax law, land law, consumer protection law, and criminal law. It can explain these laws in plain language, guide you through government processes, review contracts, and explain your rights. It will explain your right, for you so that you don't go and argue as though you know it all. In the domain of education and learning, Claude is an exceptional tutor. It can explain any context at any length, at any level, help students prepare for WIAC, JAM, and professional examinations, assist with research papers and theses and break down complex technical materials into simple language. In the domain of business and finance, Claude can help with business planning, financial projections, pricing strategy, market analysis, investment evaluation, and management decision making. These are the areas Claude can help. And the last there, which is not, of course, the list, understanding this full range helps you think of Claude not as a tool for one specific thing, but as a multi-functional professional assistant that covers most of what you currently pay specialties or spend hours doing yourself, right? There are a number of services I pay professionals to do for me, but honestly, ever since I got to know that Claude can do these things, I stopped paying them, and you know what that means. I've taken money, a lot of money, from their pockets, right? Okay, so let's summarize this. One thing what Claude can do for you, the things Claude can do for you actually include writing and document, contract proposals, letters. It can handle research for you and analysis. It can handle legal and government laws and procedures for you. Education and tutor is an excellent help there. business and finance, it's an excellent help there. Even if you want to do what we call cash flow, it can do that for you. Social media, it can do a whole lot of survey for social media for you, right? A lot. We can't just name them, we can't name all here, but these are the core, right? Now, let's look at a business owner story. You know, I don't know why this thing is hanging. Okay. Sorry, the network keep hanging on my side and delaying the slide from moving. A life scenario from Calabar, a business owner story. And the situation is this. A distribution business in Calabar was about to sign a supply agreement. Let's listen though. A distribution business in Calabar was about to sign a supply agreement with a multinational, but Lagos legal fees for review would cost 150,000, right? The legal fees in Lagos will cost 150,000, but this person is in Calabar, right? Now, what they did to help them understand their obligations and avoid falling prey is this. They pasted a contract into Claude. You can upload the contract actually if it's in a file and ask it to summarize obligations, right? Flag unfavorable clauses and identify anything unusual to push back on. What that means is if that company goes ahead to sign, there might be clauses that will put them into trouble, right? For example, let me give you guys an example. In 2009, I had a remote job from Canada and I did the job, finished it completely and delivered. But guess what? What I didn't do was to sign an agreement that I'm going to be clocking my time online, right? All through the days and weeks I did that job, I think even up to a month or so, I did that job for that client. It was a web application. I never clocked online. I never even knew I was going to clock. I never knew I was going to clock online, which clocking here means checking in that, yes, I've started work, and then when I'm done in the evening, I clock out. Just like you sign register in the office. You sign when you come to work, you sign when you are leaving, right? I wasn't used to that, right? So now, at the end of the day, I wasn't paid. Even though I've delivered the job, I wasn't paid to date. I wasn't paid. So those are the clauses there. Now the result. Now this, after the business in Calabar uploaded the contract to Claude, Claude brought out the result. And what did they see? The business in Calabar cut two one-sided clauses before signing. Now they negotiated a better terms and then at zero cost. Now if the business in Calabar did not upload or paste that contract, they would have fallen prey, right? They would have fallen prey. But because they did that, Claude helped them to clear off all the clauses, identify unusual vulnerabilities, and they went on business. So this is what these are part of the things Claude can do for you as a business person, right? Okay, let's go into what Claude cannot do. Honest limitations. What Claude cannot do. Unlike the other systems, let's understand what Claude cannot do. Understanding Claude limitations is just as important as understanding its capabilities. Professionals who understand this limit use Claude more effectively, verify where needed, and are never blindsided by incorrect information in high-stakes situations. I've experienced this, and when I do, I will tell it what it did wrong and what it should have done, right? So it will tell me, it will apologize, actually. You wonder how it does it. It will apologize, but it has learned that it shouldn't have done this, and it will apologize and give the correct response. The most important limitation is the knowledge cutoff. Claude was trained on data up to a specific date, which means it does not know about events, law changes, price changes, or development that occurred after that date. It happens to human beings too. I don't know what has changed in the Nigerian law as of today. The one I know is as when I checked. So any improvement as at date, I wouldn't know. So the same applies to Claude and other AI tools. For Nigerian professionals, this matters most for very recent regulatory changes, current market prices, exchange rates, recent court judgments, and breaking news. Always verify time-sensitive information with current sources. So when you're using Claude and you need up-to-date information, Claude is telling us always verify on our own so that we don't make mistakes. The second limitation is the tendency of to hallucinate rather. Even the best AI models sometimes generate plausible sounding but incorrect information. Practically specific numbers, statistics, names, or citations. Claude is better than most AI tools for acknowledging uncertainty. Like I told us, it apologizes whenever I tell you that it made a mistake, right? But it is not perfect. Never rely on Claude's specific statistics, case citations, or highly specific factional claims without verifying them through primary sources. Whatever it is you are looking for, go to the primary site or office and verify, especially when it has to do with current details. The third limitation is that Claude cannot take actions in the world. It cannot send emails, make payments, access your bank account, submit government forms, or do anything beyond generating text responses. It advises and drafts. You always execute. However, when it comes to coding, it's a different thing developing email sending agents using Claude. But to just expect Claude to do it for you without a system you built on, because in that way, you are programming to do that assignment. But ordinarily, just to send email for you, it cannot do that because that is not the specific. But when you build it as a system, what we call an agent, or access to write a code that will set up what we call cron jobs. So at this point in time, that code will execute and email will be sent. That can be done by programming. But by normal day-to-day activity, without a system set up, it cannot do that. The fourth limitation is real-time information. Unless you are using the web search feature, Claude does not have access to live data, current exchange rates, today's news, live share prices, real-time government announcement. For anything where currency matters, use Claude General Framework and verify current numbers yourself. What I do is, most time when I wanted to use current date, I will do a search myself. If I get what I want at that time, I will share the link to it with it and ask it to use information or use what is on this site to give me my response, right? That is what I do sometimes. If I know that it's not giving me the current date or the current response, which I know is available somewhere, maybe on Google or on another platform, right? I do that so that I get a holistic information from one source, right? So finally, on what Claude cannot do, the fifth limitation is professional judgment. Claude is knowledgeable but not licensed. It should not replace your lawyer in a court. No, don't use Claude to replace your lawyer in a court, right?
Okay.
Your doctor in a medical situation, in a medical decision, your accountant in a complex tax dispute, or your financial advisor in a major investment. Use Claude to understand your situation. Prepare better questions and reduce reliance on paid professionals for routine matters. But for high-stakes decisions, always involve the appropriate human professionals. I'm sure we understand that. For professionals, for tasks that need high-level professionals, use them. But to prepare you to contact with them and decide them, use Claude to guide you, prepare your questions, details, and dependent reliance on other people who would have done this for you for a paid course, right? Okay, in summary, knowledge cutoff, occasional hallucination, no real-world actions, no real-time data, not a licensed professional. It cannot replace your doctor, your lawyer, your accountant, even though it can do some of their advisory work, advisory activities. Yet, there are certain things they can do that Claude cannot do for you, right? So it's important you still patronize them and pay whatever is needed, okay? So, if you see this page, it says when to verify, when to see a professional. Verify this yourself, specific statistics or figures. For example, you want to pay for, you want to register a business with CSC. It's important you verify the actual cost now, or maybe like, for example, you want to renew your car particulars. Claude may not give you the current day because you may see the price online, but when you go to the office, it's a different thing. So these are things, whatever needs that is current for today, don't use AI. You go verify yourself. Okay? So I'm sure up to this point, we have gotten a good answer to what we want, right? Now this page, this section, quick check, summarizes all we have been discussing on section 3, what you know now. Claude covers 6 major domains: writing, research, legal, education, finance, and social media. Now, please note, this domains is for non-developers, because like I said, the focus of this course is specifically for non-programmers. It's for people who do the normal day-to-day, more of the text activities, not programming. So that is what is focusing here. So you didn't see the word code here because it has nothing to do with them, right? We Nigerian professionals are already using Claude to save real money and time. And that is what I want us to start using. Claude has honest limitations: knowledge cutoff, occasional errors, no real-world actions. You know exactly when to verify Claude answer and when to still call a professional. Most of what I do for most of our clients, I use Claude. I less use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT for a different thing entirely. I use Gemini for comparisons and a few other aspects. But in more of my business, I use Claude, and some of them I encourage us to start using it as well, so that we will get up and start running. Now, everything we've covered today, as you can see, section 1, AI, we talked about AI, talked about Claude's origin, how to compare with other tools, with other AI tools. We talked about account, we did our first prompting, and we learned about the 5 prompting techniques, right? And then lastly, we talked about the full capabilities of Claude, the reuse case, and honest limitations of Claude, right? So it's important you know all of this, and I'm sure at the end of this, you can start practicing and see what other things you can do. In the next class, which is going to be next Saturday. In fact, next Saturday, we're going to do two modules, Module 1 and Module 2, so that we can avoid the Sunday class. We're going to prepare some documents next Saturday, and after that, we go into another one. We're going to have 2 lessons on this coming Saturday, right? Because entirely there are 7. Okay? So, if you have any question, please ask. We've come to the end of the class for today. And if you have any question, please, you can ask, and I'll get back to us to explain. Okay? So any question? Any question?
No question from me, sir.
Okay. A blessing. Okay, I thought your stuff was hanging. Okay, so I'm sure we learned a lot. It may seem as though it's a break, but I'm telling you, as we progress in this course, you have a lot to learn, and you will see that Claude is far better than. Let me not say it's far better than other ones, but it has a strong use case than other AI tools, right? I use the paid version, and I'm getting the value I need from it. Now, but I started with the free version until I started using the paid version, and I'm still enjoying it today. Okay? So, in the absence of any question, we can end the course now and see you next week, Saturday. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, and remain blessed. See you guys next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.